I
Okay.
think they're seeing that for them better growth. I mean, we could talk about it. I mean, I think for them, they're just seeing better growth in data centers than
Mm,
they weren't a big enough player.
yeah.
If we do mention it, we can chat a little bit about it for sure.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Godspeed. Today, I am your host, Riley Roseby, the man behind Godspeed. Today, I am thrilled to be joined with Brett Conrad. Brett, you are a longtime friend, investor, private pilot. I can't think of too many other people I would want to talk to about innovation in technology, transportation, AI than yourself. How are you doing today, Brett?
I'm doing awesome. I appreciate it. Back from family reunion up in Canada. I want to show everybody my t-shirt, which is my Nanaimo Flying Club t-shirt on
I
Vancouver
love it.
Island there. And we stopped in their FBO. They've been around, the flying club's been around since 1947. And but like you said, I think we're ready for a big change because a lot of the planes really, not much has changed since then
Mhm.
in terms of a big dynamic shift. And I think we're in the middle of that now. So I'm excited to see that in aviation, and also it's all combined with all the other technology changes
It's
going on. So we're in an exciting era.
Yeah, I mean, truly, there's a confluence of everything just happening. It's just a blend of it all. Before we get into aviation, we got to talk about autonomous driving, though, right? Like we got to go step by step. So, the autonomous driving ETF by Global X here, ticker DRIV, we are popping right out above the anchored VWAP from its 2021 all-time high. And it seems like, all systems go on this autonomous driving. We're seeing Tesla, roll out in Austin. They're doing small rollouts in San Francisco. They're talking about rolling out to the public in Austin next month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we know about Waymo and their kind of lead, so to speak, but Tesla's starting to make some noise. And I've been talking about Tesla a while in the sense that it just stopped going down amidst all the negativity. You think Tesla's ready to turn higher? You think autonomous driving is here rather than kind of this fun fantasy that we can talk about?
I think we're definitely here. It's a complex situation though, because if we really want to see autonomous driving become truly ubiquitous, we need Tesla behind that because
Mhm.
they're the only ones that have the vertical stack. They own it all. They've got by far the least expensive vehicles on the market. But they continue, unfortunately, they're continuing to try and do it without LiDAR. And I'm just wondering, well, what's their end date? Like, if it doesn't work in 12 months, do they pull the plug and go to
Mhm.
LiDAR? Or are they just gonna, like, are we gonna be here in 3 more years with safety drivers still in Tesla cars?
Yeah.
So I think that's the big question. It's here. If Tesla doesn't do it, Waymo's just gonna keep on growing. So it's gonna happen from either spot. We just don't know if Tesla's gonna be living up to their potential or not.
Yeah. Which is why, I mean, I love going back to this autonomous and EV ETF, just because if
Mhm.
you are more of a longer term investor, it takes out that single stock risk. It takes out that single event risk that Tesla might not succeed in this,
Yeah.
while you're still able to capture the underlying trend that is autonomous driving. So I
Yeah,
think
that's
from
going to be a super safe bet. But look what it's done since, I mean, it's gone 18 to 25 since the tariff tantrum situation. But a lot of other stocks have doubled since then.
Yep.
So, it's going to be a more tempered way to play it. Also, you've got a bunch of Microsoft in there, right? They're the
Mhm.
number three holding. And I'm thinking, what do they have to do much with autonomous and electric vehicles? Google's their number one. You think, okay, cool. It's Waymo, but Waymo's probably 1% of Google's business right now.
Right. If
Uh,
that.
so
If that. I mean, in the
you
last
might as well
conference
just buy
call,
the, you might as well buy the fangs.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's a better play, and you could build your own portfolio. That's if you really wanted to focus on this autonomous and electric vehicle category
Mhm.
as a whole. This also has Toyota in it, when they're kind of a lagger in the business. So those are some of their top holdings. I was just looking.
Well, Toyota's a little bit of a laggard, but even this morning when I was on the morning show, Steve brought up a great point that they are kind of a laggard, but they're also placing so many bets in this space,
Yeah,
right? They're
true.
making investments in Joby. I think they have an investment in Pony AI. And
Yeah,
so,
like,
like, yeah, Toyota themselves as the motor company might not be making autonomous vehicles, but they're
mhm.
definitely in the playing field.
In the mix. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is great because I think maybe something will start showing promise and they'll get totally behind it
Hmm.
and buy it, or whatever. It's like a lot of these old school car companies are generating a lot of cash, so they if they make the right moves, it's going to be phenomenal, and
Yeah.
Toyota maybe sounds smarter than everybody else. They're hedging, right? They're placing a bunch of bets, and if one goes, they're going to just be able to put the gas on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think when we think of autonomous driving, a lot of us think of just the consumer application in the sense of, let me hop in a Waymo, let me hop in a Tesla, take me to XYZ.
Mhm.
But one big factor is probably like the freight shipping and the commercial segment. You brought up Aurora Innovations. You
Yeah.
were kind of texting me earlier about them today. They're doing pilots in Texas. They want to do test runs between Texas and Arizona. They're growing. Is this kind of a preferred bet for you versus the Tesla Cyber Semi?
Yeah, because as I was researching Tesla, I realized that they don't really even have any autonomous tests going on right now.
Hmm.
And again, if they could build something that would work, they would just take off, right? They're going to have much lower costs. Whereas Aurora has a lot of partners. They use Continental, NVIDIA. I think PACCAR is one of their partners. So they have a lot of partners, which kind of slows them down a bit. But on the other hand, they're using a really measured approach. They calling it the crawl, walk, run. And so right now they're in the, I guess in the crawl phase with they're the only ones in the US as far as the research I could do that's actually delivering freight right now autonomously door to door between Dallas and Houston. And they've had zero safety incidences, by the way, and just 20,000 miles logged. So it's not that much, but they're going
They're
to
also
start.
doing night driving though, right?
They're
Yeah.
bringing that on night, and then they're going to do bad weather. So, and all that's going to be done this year. So you could really see them potentially scale, and the stock start to get on some fire, as we get into the fourth quarter and into the first quarter next year. If they continue to execute like that, and I think they're in a great position to do it, because it's actually working and it's actually very safe. And they've got the first mover advantage of actually putting miles on the road now with no driver, no safety driver, nothing. It's all run
Hmm.
by the computer.
Yeah. Have you looked at a chart of UPS lately? I don't have it in my deck, but
No, but I
oh
can.
my goodness. So I don't know what the ramifications here are, like Aurora has kind of within UPS and some of these logistics providers, but
Hmm.
looking at FedEx and UPS, these things are absolutely dogs.
Hmm.
I don't know if they're interconnected. I don't know if there's like a pair trade there to take advantage of it, but it's certainly interesting to see kind of like the old town or old time logistics companies lagging, the brands that
And
everybody knows and loves, and then these new companies coming on, adopting technologies, trying to, you know, shift the landscape.
right. Well, what Aurora is saying that they can move someone, typically these businesses are a lot of their customers at like a 3% net margin, which is tiny. They can
Hmm.
move to a 10% net margin because they can charge the same. No one cares how it's getting from A to B. They just want their stuff,
Yep.
on time, on budget kind of thing. And because that net margin improvements there, and certainly there will just not be any pressure on that for potentially a decade or two until we get enough autonomous vehicles on the market that they can start to bring down price.
Hmm.
They can just charge the going rate, but without the driver, right? And like I think Waymo is at 30 vehicles per kind of controller back in the office, just looking at the screens, looking at all the different vehicles.
Hmm.
So this could be a godsend to UPS and FedEx and Amazon even. The market is absolutely phenomenally huge, and that's why I'm gonna take a little slice of this Aurora. I'm kind of liking that as a 3-4 year thing, and I think we're gonna hit an inflection point, which could be very soon. Because there's just not enough people that want to drive trucks, and it's a terribly unhealthy occupation to be in, sitting on your butt for 12 hours a day. Um,
Yeah, it sounds like a brutal life.
yeah, and people
Brutal.
they don't live long.
Yeah.
People need to move. Our bodies are meant to, be sitting by the fire, gathering firewood, getting food, moving all the time. And when you're in a car or truck sitting, you're not doing that.
Well, and then just the safety aspect. Like, I think that's to me the biggest thing as to why I think this system, this
Mhm.
ecosystem of autonomous driving is going to win. It's safer than human drivers. And I've driven a lot
Yeah,
on interstates around the United States. And like, I always get so freaked out when a semi truck is kind of slowly drifting over and you're supposed to pass them. And it's like,
right.
okay, there's got to be a better way to do this.
Yeah,
He might be on his 12th hour,
yeah,
drowsy.
yeah.
We don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah, believe it or
Um,
not, I think there is a win. I think it's 11 hours a day where drivers can be driving. That's just a lot.
that's a lot.
But at the end of that shift, they're going to be tired, not as responsive, and also, a company like Aurora or any autonomous semi truck company, the utilization of the rigs goes way up too, right?
Hmm.
Because you're just running a computer the whole time. So you can just, go Dallas to Houston and then Houston to Dallas back and forth all day and all night.
Yeah.
And, and although their revenues were pretty tepid, I was looking at they only did 1 million in revs last quarter, on 5 million in cost of goods. So they've got a ways to go before they hit that kind of operating leverage inflection point. But believe
Hmm.
me, the demand's going to be there immediately. They would be able to put out as many systems as they could if they had them.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to kind of pivot a little bit because we're talking about some pretty high risk on type bets, right? We're talking about
Mhm.
autonomous driving. Interest rates are a hot topic.
Yeah,
We're getting like a 90% chance of a rate cut in September.
yeah.
Given that high probability, are you kind of just operating in a risk on, let's just assume we're in a rate cutting environment, even though the cuts have yet to come? Because in my mind, I could see us ramping into the rate cuts because everybody assumes we're going to get a rate cut,
Mhm.
them cut rates, and then we're going to sell off for like a, I don't know, couple weeks, continue that next leg higher.
Yeah.
Because it
I
seems like
think
everybody's watching and waiting for the rate cut.
I think it is time to go full boat into a lot of these, and with as much as you can handle. And if you don't want the single company risk, get into some of the ETFs. And the biggest benefactors of falling rates are going to be biotechs, for instance. And biotechs have been just the worst trade ever in the last 4 years, worst investment. Between administration changes, pressures on pricing, and general lack of enthusiasm for any kind of far out investments. I think they're going to have their day in the sun,
Mhm.
and this could be the time where you double up on for instance IBB, or you can go with a leverage play too, like LABU if you're if you're out there on the risk curve. I think now's the time to do it. You've got a
Yeah.
great trend up. Uh, we talked a little bit earlier that builders are also on the way up and they're highly rate sensitive as well. So, I mean, they're getting confirmation from all sides
Mhm.
right
Well,
now.
and on the biotech front, Brett, I think the thing I have been patiently waiting for is like the AI biotech boom. There's going to be an AI biotech boom, right? Like there's going to be some biotech company that comes out, they put AI on their name, and then they have like $1 billion market cap.
Yeah.
And we just haven't seen that yet.
And throw a crypto token in there and they're they're really going to go.
Yeah.
True. So I think we need to be on the lookout for that. Regardless of AI or not, these companies still have to get through the FDA, and that's what slows them down a lot and causes, a lower rate of return on their investments. I think that's probably a big reason why it's underperformed. But I think as a trade, it might be a year long, but I think there's going to be significant movement as long as rates fall. These things are going to go up. And we've seen a good amount of M&A in biotech as well, which is kind of like the white knight that comes into town with the cash. Let's
Mhm.
say it's a couple of these, smaller micro cap, small cap biotechs, and all of a sudden everyone gets religion, animal spirits come out, stocks can go up.
It's a wonderful feedback loop.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to talk about. So we've both been playing with Perplexity's Comet, the AI
Yes.
browser. Yesterday they came out and they placed a bid for nearly $35 billion for Google Chrome, which is almost double the valuation the company had at its last funding round. They say they have the money to do it. Are you
Mhm.
making anything of this bid? To me, it's just like them calling their shot as far as like, hey, we're going to dominate the browser, so might as well just sell your browser to us. I want to hear your thoughts on Comet because I know you're a pretty frequent user, but like, do you think this acquisition has any legitimacy?
I think it's just a way to, well, I think there's two purposes behind this bid.
Mm-hmm.
One is just to draw attention to Perplexity. We're in a branding game, right? It's like, you got to be PT Barnum out there and get eyeballs on, get headlines talking about your company. And this certainly did it. We're talking about it now. So I think that achieved that goal. And then secondly, actually, if this does come to fruition with my experience with Comet by Perplexity with the Comet browser, it's a game changer. I would never go back to Chrome. I'm only going back to Chrome now when some website doesn't accept it,
Yeah.
like Chase doesn't.
Really?
I was doing that today. Yeah, they were like, "What is this browser? We've never heard of it before." But
Huh.
because of the research ability with Perplexity to hit that sidebar and then start to type in either, look at this page, give me a summary, or like look throughout the internet and give me some ideas about things. It just in terms of workflow, it's so much easier than a separate application like ChatGPT that's
Yeah.
not integrated with the browser. Even if you have your default search with like you can set that up on Chrome now with Chat GPT. It's still like a separate experience, but you really want these side by side things. You want to be looking at, say, source material on Seeking Alpha or something, and then be able to also research at the same time and have them integrated together. So I think all of a sudden, if they were able to put that into Chrome, that would be a game changer for them. And the Perplexity founder came from Google. He totally understands this, and that's why they were the first one out with the browser.
Yeah.
Smart. I think
So
it's smart.
I'm really excited about Comet because it's like this next step after LLMs, right? So we have these LLMs. AI is awesome. We get to generate fun images, helps you write, helps you formulate ideas. Now, what you're talking about with the browser, you can kind of multitask. It's increasing your efficiency and productivity. I'm excited for that next iteration. I don't know how long it's going to take. What do you think is going to be like the new form factor of tech? Because I feel like as great as Perplexity is, as great as Comet is,
Yeah.
it's still limited by the physical hardware of the computer. Whereas there's going to be a next evolution that, in my mind, breaks away from the computer. I
Might
think
be in
it's
multiple arenas, with glasses.
glasses and like a pendant or
Meta's
something.
got pedal to the metal on their next, versions of the Meta glass, which
Yeah.
I actually have. They're okay. Um, they still need, there's no visual, right? It's seeing, but it can't give you any visual representation on the glasses.
Hmm.
For $300, what do you expect? Or $200? They're the same price as, a high-end pair of Ray-Bans. So,
Yeah.
but with all the tech in. But I do like that aspect of being able to kind of continuously record what you're doing all day long and maybe give you statistics and feedback where it could go like, hey, you wasted, what are you doing on, YouTube for this 20 minutes? You could have been a lot more productive during that time. But I kind of see a continuous, if it, continuously recording and being your overlord in a way on
Well, I just think it's going to be seamless, right? Like it's going to be seamless in the sense that we can operate with computers without necessarily having to be like on the computer, is how I envision it. So yeah, you're talking to your glasses then talks to your computer, and Perplexity comment goes and does your things for you while you're out walking Kalani.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
our dog. Yeah. For those who don't know.
All right, Brett, we should probably wrap it up for today.
Oh my goodness, this is a fast turnaround, but
Yeah. Do you have
I
any
know we
fun
got
plans
started a
for the
little late, but
weekend?
we'll do it again. Pardon?
Yeah. Before we leave, do you have any fun plans for the weekend? Are you going to go flying?
Well, I'm flying tomorrow to Carlsbad and going to see my dad, who's 93. So really
Good.
excited about that, and then we're going to be back here and getting ready for a trip up north to Idaho.
Fun.
Post that too. So it's fun
Good.
being able to pop in the plane and get around quickly and
Yeah.
look at all the people, in traffic jams down below and kind of smile. I smile at that, and there's gonna be more people that are gonna be able to do that when we bust more of these companies out with autonomous aviation.
Yeah. I mean, it's coming. That one's going to probably be a decade plus, but it's on its way.
It
It's
is. It
certainly on its
is.
way.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, Brett. Thank you for joining us. Everyone, we will be back next week. If you haven't already subscribed, please check out the blog at godspeed.today. We just updated the website, so if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please send them my way. Maybe give me a little feedback as far as what you think of the aesthetics too. But we will see y'all next week. Be safe and happy trading.
Thanks for having me.